Hey guys, it's Nicholas here from upgradetolife.com and welcome to this quote of the week video, which is about assumptions, right? Assuming something and also creation is finished. So it will be a really interesting quote. And with that, let's just dive right into it. And here's the quote from Neville Goddard in this week. So Neville said, "Because creation is finished, what you desire already exists." Let this sink in for a moment. It is excluded from view because you can see only the contents of your own consciousness. It is the function of an assumption to call back the excluded view and restore full vision. It is not the world, but your assumptions to change. An assumption brings the invisible into sight. It is nothing more nor less than seeing with the eye of God, which is imagination. Right? Which is God in action, which is consciousness in motion, consciousness in action. So let's just dive into that, right? Really, really powerful quote, in my opinion. I like it really much because it starts with, because creation is finished, what you desire already exists. And sometimes people just say, oh yeah, I know creation is finished, but they still have super much worries and doubts and confusions about applying this law. But if you really let this sink and kind of like feel into this truth, this alone will give you a huge amount of like relaxation, a huge amount of also going into a desired state because you know, wow, that does exist, right? Creation is finished. So what you desire does exist, right? However, and this is what Neville's stating next, he's saying it is excluded from view. What does it mean? That basically means it is not manifested yet. It is not tangible currently. It is not in this world that you experience with your senses. And where is it? It basically lives in the invisible. It lives in your imagination. It lives within the infinite consciousness, within the infinite creation that there is. But you only experience ever like one snippet of that. You can't experience the entire creation at once. From consciousness point of view, if you imagine consciousness awareness as an infinite space, just as an infinite space in which every potential does exist, then it experiences everything at once. But you, as this individualized, manifested standpoint, basically, to experience this world, you can only experience one snippet. So when you imagine something, what we have coined imagination is basically just looking into another snippet of experience that is already available to you. That is what we call imagination. This is just a word. But see what this actually does. It's like remote viewing an already existing state, an already existing reality that you can access, that you can, like experience via your imagination, right? But it's excluded from your physical senses because you can only see currently manifested the contents of your own consciousness. You can see only what you had alive within yourself, right? What you assumed to be true, what you shifted into, and then this was expressed. And now, what does an assumption actually do? Right? The assumption is not to like convince your mind and all of that stuff, but it basically, you assume to be in that state, in that reality where the thing that you want is already present, right? To call back the excluded view, because that what you want is just excluded from view. It's not excluded from existence. It does exist because creation is finished. Right? I do have a video. It's called Infinite States, Creation is Finished. You can check this out right now. I will link it above. So that is what an assumption does. Right? It helps us to restore the vision of this state, basically, which is right now excluded from view because we are not in that state. If we would be in that state, this would be our experience because this would be within our awareness. So we don't change the world, we don't battle the world, we don't fight against the world and the circumstances. They will change as soon as we internally change. They will change as soon as we go into a new state. So let the facts be the facts. They're the facts, but they're not the truth because you determine the truth, which is wherever you are within. Right? So we change our assumptions. And then the assumption, right, brings the invisible reality. Right? Remember, faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. An assumption brings the invisible reality into sight so that it then becomes experiential for your senses. And what this means, what imagination is again, is, it's like seeing with the eye of God. It's basically seeing something that's not manifested yet. That is imagination. That is already seeing with the eye of God. So don't get super hyped up on the wording and on seeing with the eye of God, imagination, spiritual sensation. It all means the same. It all means to experience something, feel into something, shift into something that is not tangible yet. That's not experienced for your senses, but you have the ability to go beyond senses. And you have to ask yourself, is that just coincidentally? Can you just coincidentally go beyond time and space via your imagination? Or is that actually really powerful and you should consciously use it? And then the answer is obviously yes, right? Because you can close your eyes, and no matter where you are, no matter what time it is, no matter what is going on, you can close your eyes and imagine something that applies to you or your desired version, which is therefore assuming that new state that is right now excluded from view, but that does exist, right? You cannot desire something that does not exist. Your desires do exist. They are your hidden identity. I have a video on this called Your Desire is Your Hidden Identity. A very, very important video, so please check this out. And that's it already for this video, right? A really short one, really straight to the point. It serves also more as a reminder that creation is finished, right? But don't just say it, try to feel into it. What would it feel like to know that every potential state, every potential version of yourself, that everything is available and in existence, but you can only like experience from your standpoint one of them. You can't experience the version of you that is this, and that. No, you will only experience that when you shift into that, and then that becomes your experience, and the other states will fall away and no longer have life in your individual experience in this 3D world, right? So an assumption brings the excluded view basically, into vision, brings the excluded view into the here now, so that we identify with it, so that this then becomes our viewed view, that this becomes our new view, right? That this invisible state becomes visible. But we have to activate it first. We have to live in it. We can't just, like create the state. No, we have to be in it, as I always teach on my channel. Okay. So really short video. I hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments down below what you feel about this quote, what you think about the topic of creation is finished, if that is easy for you to understand. And now you have a reminder again of what assumptions do, right? They help you to assume the invisible state. So that's it for this video. Speak to you in the next one. Bye, guys.